I just tell the truth, and telling the truth is crazy in a world full of lies. If you mix brilliance with bravery, that we can ignite something. Even this conversation alone can ignite the people.
The time is now to express and for people to believe in themselves. The time is now for it to be okay to be great. People in this world shun people for being great, for being a bright color, for standing out. But the time is now to be okay to be the greatest you.
Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl Kelly back here with another video, except this video is going to be a little bit different. If you're new to the channel and you enjoy commentary on true crime stories, politics, news, and culture, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, guys. Join me here. If not, no pressure. Just stick around, watch a video or two, see if you like it, and then we'll go from there. And if you're returning, just want to say thank you guys so much. I greatly appreciate you guys and all that you do interacting here with me on my channel. So thank you for being a friend as always. And guys, a little bit about this video. I have already this was from a previous video that was much longer about January 6th, and I was doing like a comparison between two different federal agencies. So I will link that video also if you want to see the full extended version of this video. But I also did clip it down a little bit more, and I wanted to show you guys something beforehand. So I'm going to add a little bit to it, and then we're going to get into the Revolver article that laid out perfectly, in my opinion, the events of January 6th and how it is pretty glaring that there was federal agent activity within the parameters of what was going on there on January 6th. And being that we've had a recent release via Tucker Carlson of additional footage, it's not looking good, guys, for the January 6th narrative spewers, guys. I mean, they seem like they have they seem like they've really stuck their foot in it. Okay, they tried to scream insurrection, and it's giving more a setup. It's giving more American citizens being set up and being thrown into jail. So without further ado, guys, let's get into the very quickly. I want to show you guys a few little clips, and then it'll just automatically play my previous video that I did I guess it was like a few weeks ago. So you know, just bear with me. If you want to see the extended version, again, I will link it down below. And let's get into first little Miss Karine Jean-Pierre, guys, and she had some things to say about Tucker Carlson and his news broadcast, and she wasn't happy, y'all. She was not happy. So I want you guys to hear what she said about January 6th, and then we're gonna do a little juxtaposition, okay? So let's get right into that, and here we go. Oh no, sorry.
And you've heard me say this many times, and the president as well. We've been very clear from the beginning that what we saw on January 6th was the worst attack on our democracy since the Civil War. And the president has been very clear. Our democracy continues and remains under threat. And
So since the Civil War, guys, January 6th was the worst threat to our democracy since the Civil War. So with that little nugget in your head, I want to show you this, okay? Let's just show you this. So is this from January 6th or, oh no, wait, I'm sorry. This footage is from actually before January 6th. This was actually a riot that was going on during the George Floyd riots in Washington, D.C., which made it all the way up to the White House, pretty much. These people were absolute savage animals trying to basically break into the White House and harm Donald Trump or unseat him as president of the United States. So was this event here not as bad as January 6th? I'll let you guys be the judge. Y'all tell me. see the White House in the background. Wow. Church is on fire here in the background. Another building on fire. More fire. And look at this crowd, guys. The White House, where our president resides. Donald Trump was actively president during this time. And these animals took to the streets, were rioting, and were trying to break through barriers and trying to break through lines of Capitol Police, Secret Service agents, and other law enforcement agencies to try to gain access into the White House. Okay, so just let's keep this picture in our minds, okay? And let's see, it gets a little bit worse here, I believe. They start charging on the officers, and all kinds of crazy fights happen with police. So, you know, they tried to say that, you know, people were fighting the Capitol Police in the Capitol, which some were, but not to this extent. And they're right on the White House lawn right here. They're protecting the president, you psychopath. Okay, so let's juxtapose that, okay, with the worst attack on American soil after the Civil War, guys. Let's get into this.
These are the pictures you've seen of January 6th. They're familiar because they've been playing on a loop on every media outlet in America for the last 2 years. There's a reason for that.
What started as a fight for justice,
But it turns out there's quite a bit of video you haven't seen. And that video tells a very different story about what
Minnesota
happened on
freeway
January
at
6th.
Pinker speeds
More than
directly toward a
40,000
crowd of
hours of surveillance
protesters,
footage
narrowly
from in and
avoiding
around the Capitol
catastrophe.
have been withheld from the public. Once you see the video, you'll
Protesters
understand
chased
why.
down the truck
Taken as a
and
whole
swarmed
video,
So you
Weapons
guys
does not
can
show the
clearly
driver
see,
was
okay,
what
just
he's
from
thinking
even
by
what
the
we've
mob.
seen so far. Excuse me, is that a double video
Before
playing?
police
How dare you?
arrived, dispersed-
How dare you? So you guys can clearly see just from what we've seen so far. Okay, the first
Insurrection.
video,
In fact, it
we
demolishes
saw fires, multiple fires. We saw violence in crowds that were like I would say maybe 1/8 the size of the January 6th crowd. And we saw American flags being ripped down and lit on fire or stomped on. We saw massive lines of police having to throw multiple different smoke bombs and other deterrent items to try to back these people off. And then we have these people who, when you look at the size of this crowd, guys, and yes, Tucker Carlson is being he's being objective and showing you both sides. Some people were destructive and were somewhat violent. Other people, most of the people I would say that were there at the Capitol grounds that day, were what we're seeing here. People peacefully walking through the Capitol, taking photos, looking at things. They were not aware that they were, committing any crimes. Just utter patriots. You can see this man's holding a flag. Plenty of flags here on this day. Patriot people. And on the other hand, we have utter hooliganism and just complete chaos and hellfire, okay, with this attack on the White House, guys. So let's juxtapose here, okay? This scene here, okay, not as bad, okay, as this scene here, which let's go back to it. Okay, so where's like the big crowd? That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. Okay. And this was the police firing off smoke bombs into the mostly peaceful crowd, I would say. I mean, these people were just standing there. And these people are kicking open doors. There's no big confrontation with the police. There's the worst person, okay, guys, the worst person from the Capitol riot who simply entered into the open Capitol building doors, asked the police if he could go inside and go all the way up to the Senate floor, and was then promptly escorted up there by the police, in which he led a prayer thanking the Capitol Police for allowing them to peacefully protest inside of the Capitol. And then he was charged with 4 years in prison. So I'll show you guys one more time just so we can really drive it home. I want to see like the big crowd of people. And I'll even show you guys like the most violent portion of it, okay? Or like one of the more violent portions of it, okay? We have this here. So, which one of these footages do you think is closer to Civil War times? You guys tell me. Y'all tell me. Is this look like the worst event that's happened to our country since the Civil War? Or does this ring more true of, you know, a worse event since the Civil War? Neither one are actually factually true. We've had plenty of worse events in this country's history since the Civil freaking War. But to even, the fact that she even said that out of her mouth was truly amazing to me, guys. So, without further ado, y'all enjoy the rest of the video. It's going to be, like I said, pre-recorded, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know in the comments down below. Like the video if you like it, and let me know what y'all think about these complete psychopaths, guys. These people need to be stopped. Look at how they're calmly walking, and they are taking photos. They're standing there, guys. I don't see any fires. What is going on here? Is this even a true riot? I mean, what do y'all think? Y'all please let me know. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed it, guys. I thank you so much, and y'all enjoy. Bye. And then we'll go ahead and jump into January 6th, of course, which was a total insurrection, guys. I mean, how bad was that? That was like worse than Pearl Harbor, right? I don't know. I know. Listen, Donald Trump is Orange Man bad. We know this. We all are aware of this. So let's get into these bad people that on January 6th did a little insurrection thing. Or did they? I don't know. Let's look into this. And this is a huge, like a massive article. And shout out to Revolver, because they did amazing journalistic work with this article. And it's actually a part 2. They did a part 1, but it's extensive research, extensive sources, like you know, that reporting that they did on this situation. And so shout out to them. I'm going to link this article. I will only be referring to this one article because there's all kinds of videos embedded. Pretty much everything we need is in this one article. So I would suggest you guys, if you're interested in this, go back and read it because it is long as shit. So I won't even be reading, like, you know, probably like 1/4 of this article. It would take us forever. We'd probably be here for 2 hours just me reading the article. But it does have really good information. Like, I had to stop and like start, you know, because like I said, there's videos, there's all kinds of things linked within the article that you can, you know, go to if you so choose doing so. So I'm going to try to just skim over this, give a little commentary on some of the videos. And I'm going to just leave it up to you guys. I'm not really going to give much of my opinion on this because I already did. I already told y'all what I think. That, you know, there's no funny business. You know, Joe Biden's the best president ever. And, you know, I love him. I love the government. You know, that's just what it is. So let's get into it, guys, before I just kill myself with sarcasm here. All right, so let me bring this back up. And again, this is from Revolver. And I'm going to be going kind of dodgy all over the place on this article, guys. So just forgive me if there's something you want to look at in here that I skip over. It'll be down in the down in the description, okay? So, meet Ray Epps, part 2. Damning new details emerge, exposing massive web of unindicted operators at the heart of January 6th. And this is really what we're after, guys. We want to make sure that everyone is indicted. Everyone pays for that horrifying attack on the Capitol. So that's why we're doing this video. It's not to, like, you know, allege anything else. It's just to say that, like, these people need to pay. You know, Ray Epps, he was an instigator. He was, and he needs to pay. And our government would appear like they don't care. They would just rather go after your grandma. So, okay. Again, I'm going to skip over a lot of this, but let's start with this video here. Kind of just shows you guys a timeline of Ray Epps and his many exclamations that he made that day. This is over the period of January 5th and January 6th. You guys have probably seen a bunch of these videos already, but this is just proving and showing him leading up to the Capitol, the breach, where he was at within the crowd, what his actions were showing, and then we'll lead into what we're gonna basically divulge from that. Okay, so here we go.
Tomorrow, we need to go into the Capitol. Into the Capitol. What? No!
That's Baked Alaska. Oh my God, that's Baked Alaska. Y'all. Oh my God, shout out to Baked Alaska. If y'all don't know, I don't know if y'all know who that is, but he's a streamer. He's on Cozy, Nick Fuentes' streaming platform, and he was indicted as part of this whole situation that happened. Basically, he's one of the January 6ers who was indicted, but he is a streamer. He was a streamer before, and he is now streaming on cozy.tv. So y'all check him out. But that's so funny. I just realized that.
Fed. Tomorrow, I don't even like to say it because I'll be arrested.
Well, let's not say it.
We need to go. I'll say it. All right. We need to go in.
Shut the fuck up, Boomer.
To the Capitol.
Based Fed posting? All right. We need to go into the Capitol. I didn't see that coming. Okay.
So y'all can see, like, we can clearly see, like, all of the regular people, like, nobody's saying that. Like, he's being an instigator, and everyone else is like, no, what are you talking about?
We are going to the Capitol.
So this is the next day. This is January 6th. Thanks for telling us.
Spread the word. All right. No, okay, but one more thing.
Yeah, so can we go up there? No?
When we go in,
are we going to get arrested if we
leave
go
this
up there?
here. You don't need to get
Just to
shot.
arrest us all?
Sure. Okay, guys, so that's a little compilation, and we're gonna get into some more videos, but I do just want to read this first. Okay, let's see. Okay, wait, I have it written down over here. I'm just gonna read it from. It's in this article, but I had to copy paste it because there were so many things that, like, I knew I wasn't gonna be able to find them. So okay. It is important to note that feds at the mere informant level are seldom told by their handlers of the presence of other government informants. Other government informants around them. From each individual informant's perspective, the agitators around them would look as lawless to them as they did to the crowd. This exact strange situation played out in the climax of the Whitmer kidnapping plot. The car that prosecutors say cased the governor's house had 5 passengers, 2 homeless patsies, and 3 secret feds. Okay, yeah. But only the agent-level fed in the car had total operational awareness. Each of the 2 informants in the car probably thought the other was a legitimate insurrectionist. So I just wanted to point that out before we go any further into all these videos. That that's why, like, it's so hard to prove, and it's so hard to, like, actually pinpoint, because some of these guys might have been federal informants and were working in conjunction with the federal government, but, you know, they weren't working as a team, you know, so basically they wouldn't have been, like, knowing who it was that, you know, was really there for the rally and who was there, you know, as another possible informant and agitator. So I just wanted to point that out. So as you guys can see from this little diagram here, this piece, try to find, this is the perimeter. They were not supposed to have crossed all of these, there were barriers all around this Capitol area, okay? So, setting up the Proud Boys. Okay, here we are, setting up the booby trap, I'm sorry. So, this is not the, where's the freaking Proud Boys video? I think it's down here. I know I didn't skip it, but we'll get into it. But these are other, possible Fed Boy activities that were going on around the same time that Ray Epps was driving people closer to the steps of the Capitol. There were also people around the perimeters who were doing things like this. Okay, so let's play this. Taking down fencing and all this signage. Y'all see area closed. There's all this signage here. and people just aren't paying attention. You know, they're following the crowd. This is a natural thing that people do. And all of these bleachers were not set up for them. They were not set up for them. They were set up for the inauguration that was going to be happening on January 20th. So it was kind of a natural thing that people started filing in, and they're like, oh, look, they have these seats set up for us. And then other people came, and you just follow. You just follow along, guys. It's like mass hypnosis or whatever, mass psycho hypnosis, whatever. There's a term for it, but you just don't, without any thinking, you know, you just kind of go where other people are going naturally. And they were removing this to make it to where it was easier for people to just not think anything of this and think this was natural. You can see the signs they're removing. And who are you, sir? I think you're working by yourself. Where's your friends? What are you doing here? I'm sorry, huh? Excuse me. Yeah, so this is what he was taking down. You know, this guy right here, who was never arrested either. Okay? So this man remains unindicted. In fact, the FBI does not even appear to be looking for him. He is wholly absent from the FBI Capital Most Wanted list. There is no reward for information leading to his arrest. And for perspective, the FBI's Most Wanted list features plenty of MAGA grandmas and teens who committed no property crimes or physical damage at all. For instance, you can still win a cash reward for information leading to the arrest of FBI Most Wanted suspect number 342. This bad girl right here. She looks like she looks like one of those MAGAs. She looks like one of those Trumpers, guys. Dangerous lady right there. Okay. So, despite the FBI's lack of interest in this brazen booby trapper scene rolling up restricted area fencing, online researchers have stayed on the case. They have dubbed this individual the fence cutter bulwark. Okay, and here is his little flyer that they have made. Likely companions, who are all these other little Fed boys in ski masks and black clothing and things like that. You know, totally normal, guys, totally normal. And so one of the main things was there was people like this, you know, like Ray Epps was wearing his little red hat, but a lot of these other people that were here doing this sort of Fed activity, just very stealthily, you know, removing fencing or removing barricades, or just working as if they knew what they were doing and working like almost seamlessly, like it was natural for them to be doing what they were doing. They were not dressed in any MAGA gear. They were not dressed in any Trump gear. You know, they just looked like they had just been like plopped down in this area, and they weren't even there for the rally, because everyone else who was there for the rally had the MAGA hats on. They had, you know, American flags. They had patriotic gear on. And these guys just came in with ski masks and black, you know, or dark clothing and backpacks, you know, with like fence cutters and shit like that, rolling up fucking fencing. So it's just crazy, you know, right? Isn't that weird? No, maybe not. I don't know. So he was waiting right next to the Ray Epps breach site at 12:31. That's a full 20 minutes before the breach kicked off. And this is him right here. There he was doing nothing except looking out past the fencing he would later take down. So what were you doing, guy? You're just waiting? Just hanging out? Just hanging out. Yeah, okay. Alrighty. So, this was also, okay, here we go. We're going to get into it now. This is also 17 minutes before the large group of 220 marching Proud Boys arrived at the Peace Monument from their lunch break. Here's why it matters. The official January 6th story, as parroted by the mainstream media, is that the Proud Boys' arrival at the Peace Monument at 12:48 is what sparked a sudden breach. But the fact that the fence cutter bulwark and other key operators, until now ignored by mainstream media, were already waiting in place while the Proud Boys were still a mile away eating lunch. It suggests a more sinister possibility: foreknowledge of an imminent breach at this exact location. It were just fence cutter bulwark hanging out near the breach site before the Proud Boys' arrival, we might chalk it up to coincidence, but the presence of multiple key breach figures waiting here seems too much to be coincidental. In the below video, continuously recorded between 12:40 and 12:50, you will see Ray Epps already in position in the exact walkway entrance. The breach team will pry open at least 6 minutes before they arrive. In fact, we know he was there 45 minutes before they arrived. So this is the video that I was talking about, the Proud Boys video. So this is pretty interesting here, guys. I had never actually seen this until like reading this article. So let's get into this. And this is going to go, like, sped it up so it wouldn't be a 10-minute video. Can I make this full screen or
Probably
not?
all the people who aren't in
I
the
guess not.
rally right now that were across the street in front of the monument, in front of the Washington Monument, making their way over.
Making my way downtown. Sorry.
I mean, keep an eye on the Proud Boys. Proud Boys are still just hanging out in the street over there.
So they were way down here. And there's hardly any people at this point. Because before, right for the breach.
This is a pretty good photo here.
Ray Epps. Interesting. And the other guy, the Bulwark guy. Both just
I
chilling, waiting
think
here.
that's the group leader, Cone.
There he is. He's even looking back at the direction that the Proud Boys are marching from while others look ahead, as if Epps is waiting for them and knows they're coming. And y'all can see that clearly he is looking behind him while everyone else is looking to the front, or most everyone else. So people are slowly filing in at this point. Not much activity going
You
on.
can really see the crowd coming down the street from the mall.
This is only a small portion of people. This is the Proud Boys arriving now.
So the Proud Boys coming in.
And I want y'all to keep in mind that Donald Trump's speech was still going on at this point. So if y'all think that there's a lot of people here now, just understand how many people were at the rally. And I don't even know the amount. I don't know if it is known. But there was, I mean, I know the rally that I went to, the Trump rally that I went to, there was 90,000 people in the audience alone. There was more people outside that wanted to get in that couldn't. So just to give you an example, like, I mean, this is like nothing compared to what's going to eventually arrive onto the Capitol grounds.
Seems to be the chant.
Oh my God, I'm going to mute this because I guess that sound is so annoying. What the hell?
We got women up here on the front line.
Heh.
Where's all our men at? This is our capital.
So, guys, and if you'll notice, Ray Epps at this point is not carrying a bullhorn, right? I mean, y'all can see that from the videos and stuff. Like, he doesn't have a bullhorn. Just keep that in mind, okay, till the end. Okay, so that was not all. Okay, there was also this gentleman right here, known as the NW Scaffold Commander, who I believe is just as responsible, and coincidentally has also not been charged or brought to the public's awareness at all, okay? And he might be more responsible than Ray Epps was. So, okay, perched right across from Fence Cutter Bulwark, and here's the guy, right here's Fence Cutter, okay? Here's the other guy. They're acting like they don't know each other, right? Probably don't, or maybe they do. Who knows? I'll let you decide for yourself. Okay, he is a man widely regarded by online researchers as the most infamous of all unindicted January 6th riot leaders, a man unmentioned in the mainstream press, but elevated to legendary status online as the NW Scaffold Commander. But don't let looks deceive you. The extremely peculiar middle-aged man with glasses, a nerdy mask, and a blue ball cap has been assigned more notoriety by deep researchers than arguably any other person of the thousands they have indexed. So his frenetic whirlwind of activities and apparent role as the ringleader of the breach have made him the subject of Russiagate-level rumors and speculation that he was privy to a January 6th master plan. And you guys decide for yourself, okay? So here he was outside of the Capitol before the breach happened. This is him perched on his little, he climbed the scaffolding and basically was using repetitive wording and you know, a bullhorn basically to put people, like entrance people, if you will, which this is known to happen, you know. It's, I forget the name of the phenomenon, but basically it's like, there's somebody who's sitting up high and repeating something over and over and over again. It does brainwash you, like temporarily brainwashes you, and it puts it in your mind, and then groupthink eventually sets in because there's always at least a handful of idiots, or like you're probably looking at like half the people were idiotic and retarded and are just going to listen and act, and then once other people listen and act, then you kind of get swept up, and it's, even if you're a smart, intelligent person, you can easily get swept up into the shit that they got swept up into on January 6th. I mean, it just is like, you know, mass, God, what is the freaking term? Mass psychosis or something like that? I'm gonna look it up, but let's play another video real quick. And so this was the scaffolding that he climbed, which y'all can see it's right in the middle. Again, this was all set up for the, oh my God, for the, the inauguration, okay? Words are hard, guys. Okay, so let's get into this video. And this is him basically giving his commands, okay?
Move forward! Fill up the bleachers! Save your country! Don't just stand there! Move forward! Move forward! Help somebody over the wall! Help somebody over the wall! Move forward! Come on, cowboy! Let's go, cowboy!
So again, he was, you know, directing people down below in the crowd, you know, we need help, move forward, over and over and over again. And so this is another clip, and it says that this should be checkmate, and it is, let's see, it should make Scaffold Commander one of the top criminal suspects on the entire FBI most wanted list. Spoiler alert, he isn't even on the list and no charges have been filed. And the FBI to date still has never acknowledged his existence. Weird. And I just want to let you know, the term that I was thinking of was mass formation psychosis. That is it. That is what I'm talking about. And it's the same thing that we could argue happened during the whole, you know, Coco-19 situation, that everyone just kind of like put the mask on and didn't think anything of it, you know. Just like sheeple, you know, that's what it is. It's people who are sheeple. So let's get into this video, and then we'll keep it moving, guys. We're just moving quickly through all this because, as y'all can see, there's a lot here.
Okay, we're in! Come on! We gotta fill up the Capitol!
So after basically directing the crowd to move forward, finally, after you know, going all the way up to the steps and then finally getting into the Capitol, which they ended up, you know, some doors were just opened by the Capitol Police and they were let in. But once that happened, he was directing everybody to fill up the Capitol and to just, everyone just push in, keep going, keep moving. And that's what they did.
Come on! Come now! Come now, we need help! We're gonna fill up the Capitol! They got in! Come on!
Move forward!
Move forward! Climb up over the wall! Get into those bleachers!
How about you first, sir? You know, who are you? It's just crazy, you know. So it's easy to see, or at least for me, I can see how this happened. You can really understand, you know, the scope of this thing and how certain people in certain centralized locations with certain bullhorns can cause a lot of damage, and they can cause a lot of people to act in a way that they might not normally act, right? So that's what we're getting at here. It's not to say that like there was this huge conspiracy and that the government was like making people do this. It's just, you know, they know how to mess with people's minds. They have been doing this for years. So if they know what to do and they employ and deploy certain people to do those things, does that not lead you to believe, or at least, you know, allow you to, you know, ponder the thought that it's possible that maybe they had a hand in this? I don't know. Again, I will leave that up to you. So y'all can obviously think for yourselves, and y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments, okay? So again, this is another video of him shouting some more, and I want to get into the next thing here, which is interesting, okay? So this is basically they're right here where there's people in like tactical riot gear, and they are standing here as if to say like you're not going to be moving forward anymore. This guy had climbed up on the scaffolding and was giving a speech, and you know the Mr. Scaffolding man didn't like that, so he was basically trying to cut this man off and say, "Tell them to move forward. That's all they need to know right now. Tell them to move forward." So that the statement that that's all they need to know right now seems to all but confirm the scaffold commander had a two-stage breach plan, which he stuck with to monomaniacal focus. For the first 70 minutes, the only objective was to move the pawns forward up until as much pressure as possible had been placed on the building itself. Then once a single breacher had made it inside, he immediately hit the bullhorn bait and switch. Move forward gave way to his real imperative. At this point, they had already breached the barricades. They had removed fencing, and they had filled up the lawn already where they were not supposed to be. And the Capitol Police had not acted, so they had to bring in people with riot gear. You know, like these militiamen in riot gear. All the while, you know, Nancy Pelosi and other people knew that this was happening. They knew that they had gotten all the way up until this point, and they still chose not to call in the National Guard to help with the situation, to help with crowd control, to help with, you know, this ongoing potential for a riot. You know, they knew this was going on. Trump was still speaking. He couldn't do anything about nothing. There were 7 minutes still left in his speech at this point, okay? Just pointing that out, because I think it's a pretty pivotal thing. Okay, so additional footage discovered by Revolver reveals just how extensive Epps' directorial efforts were from this key spot where the media tower met the police line. In the clip compilation below, you will see Epps variously coordinating with a man in an orange ski mask, looking and pointing up at the media tower. I'm going to play this while I read, okay? Okay, so he was coordinating with a man in an orange ski mask, looking and pointing up at the media tower, retaking his spot by the tower, getting maced by police, and then bellowing, "Ah, I love it," as he temporarily retreats from the officer's gas attack. So you'll see right here they got maced, okay? And he's all smiles. He thinks this is great. Okay, the beaten down crowd looked as if it would back off of the police, but Epps would simply not be denied. He stepped straight up to the police officers who had just showered the crowd in pepper spray, and Epps appears to negotiate with the officers. So I want to play this while I finish reading. Okay, can you please do? Oh my God. Okay, thank you. Okay, so just like scaffold commander above him, excuse me, guys. Epps was successfully getting the crowd to move forward below. In fact, at the end of this clip, you can even hear Scaffold Commander scream, "Move forward," as Epps instructs the crowd to return to the top of the steps. And as y'all can see, he goes right up to the police, you know, in the riot gear, and he whispers a little something, something, and then they were allowed to then move back up to the steps. Why? Why was that? If y'all had just pepper sprayed them and moved them back, why would y'all then allow them to keep moving forward? Very weird, guys. Very weird stuff. So the sequence is so remarkable, it's worth highlighting its beginning, middle, and end again. First, the cops sprayed the crowd off the steps. Then Epps steps up to negotiate with police. Then, like Moses returning from the mountaintop, Epps pronounces to the crowd that their promised land is forward at the front step of the police line. Guys, listen up, he says. Get over here, you freaks, you big galoots. Oh, God, this is just beautiful, isn't it? This all happened just 30 minutes before the Capitol building itself was breached. There were by then tens of thousands of people behind Epps. The following screenshot from when the crowd broke out in the Star-Spangled Banner behind Epps provides a sense of the dizzying volume of human flesh impacted by how Ray Epps and Scaffold Commander were coordinating the front line. And this is probably nothing. Like, I mean, y'all can see, like, even way back here, I think that's all people. I mean, just imagine tens of thousands of people. Just try to imagine. I don't know if you can. Even me being at the rally and them telling me there was 90,000 people there, it did not feel like, I mean, it's just, I don't know, it's hard, it's very hard to envision. Is this a covered wagon? I don't know what that is. Anywho, so this guy, this was before the breach. We're just going to get into some of his vitriol that he was spitting. And it's fair to note that while Ray Epps was with others antagonizing police at the front of the barricades before they removed them, so this is kind of going back in time a little bit, Scaffold Commander was antagonizing police just meters away. This coincided almost exactly with the arrival of the Proud Boys marchers to the Peace Monument at 12:45, as if they knew the action was drawing nearer. So they were sitting up there, you know, y'all remember the still shots of them sitting up there acting like they didn't know each other, and then as the Proud Boys got closer, they could hear them approaching, they were chanting and stuff. That's when this guy started booting up, and he got a little attitude, he got a little pep in his step. So let's hear what he was saying to these Capitol police officers.
Enough of you! You gotta stop it!
Oh, yeah?
We're coming! I see you pacing around. Are you thinking about it? We're coming!
Thinking about what?
We see you pacing. Are you thinking about it?
Thinking about what, sir? What's your problem? Okay, so he was angry. He was very angry. Okay. So here he was also helping remove fencing. Before he took his little command post spot, he was doing the Lord's work, you know, removing the fencing so people wouldn't know that the area was closed and that the area that they were entering was restricted. So there he is, you know, his dirty work that he did, letting all these people into the area that they would soon be then demonized and prosecuted for being in. And look at that face. I mean, it's a face I would argue only a mother could love. Do you know this man? Let me know in the comments. Let's try to break this case, guys. I don't know. I mean, it's just like, what the fuck even, you know? It's crazy to me that people like, you know, Baked Alaska and other patriots like the shaman, the guy with the bullhorn hat, you know, people's grandmothers, all kinds of other people were hauled off to jail, have spent years or are planning or are sentenced to years in prison, in jail, for just entering the Capitol steps, not even doing all of this fence cutting and this bullhorning. You know, they have to pay the price. But yet, these people, this person right here, the FBI doesn't give two rats' ass about who he is, what he was doing there, why he was there. Could it be because he might have been one of them? I don't know. I'm not saying it. I would never say that. I'm just reading. You know, this is all made up. Everything that I say here is made up, and this article is not my thoughts. This is just an article, right? So there's also other actors that this article is going to go on to point out, and we're getting kind of towards the end. I'm going to start wrapping it up after the next couple videos because, like I said, it's so long. Like, this is just, it's insane how good this article is, and I would suggest you all reading it. But there was a black ski mask guy, and y'all can see before they actually did the breach, this man was, and I thought this was interesting. I had actually also never even seen or heard of this. I'd heard of the guy removing the fencing, the bulwark guy. I'd heard of the scaffold guy, and then of Ray Epps. But this was another guy that I had never heard of before reading this article. So a lot of good information. And then there's even more that they actually point out. So let's see. As the video ends, Black Ski Mask see Ray Epps and his team have successfully breached police line. Then he runs over to the walkway, and then from there he begins to methodically dump police barricades over the side of the walkway wall. So the black ski mask guy was just apparently a guy that was part of like a Stop the Steal group, who they got stopped before even arriving for the rally. I don't know if they actually ended up being if they were actually part of like, you know, the Fed Boy activity. I don't know. There's that one's a little bit more. It's not as sketchy, and it's not as suspicious as all the other ones, but I just wanted to show you guys. Anyways, so let's see. This is him right here, the black ski mask, and what he was doing. Okay, right here. He basically came from over there, you know, like on the side, like to our left here. When he saw the breach, he ran over and started dumping barricades out of the way and over the side of the wall here, so that way people didn't see them, basically. So, okay, and he's on the most wanted list still to this day, apparently. But they know who he is because, like I said, he was arrested as a part of this group, which I'm not going to read all of this, but y'all can go back and read this. Hippies for Trump. So he might have been possibly like a federal informant, not necessarily, you know, like they were stopped in this bus. You know, they got maybe detained, and maybe the police got to him and gave him a little talking to, you know, the day prior. And they said, hey, look, you know, maybe they found something, maybe they found drugs on this bus. Who knows? It could have been a multitude of different things, guys. But the fact of the matter is, this happens all the time. You know, the police, they'll get you in the commission of a crime, and then they use that crime to basically hold over your head and threaten prosecution if you don't work for them, and if you don't basically let them use you as a means to an end. And the means to the end here would be to be a, you know, an agitator on the Capitol that day. And, you know, we won't prosecute you. We just need you to kind of like rile people up, and we need you to kind of just, you know, make some trouble here and there. And don't worry, at the end of this, you won't be prosecuted. Which seems like, just seems like that's might have been what happened, but I don't know. I'll let you be the judge for your own self. Okay, so again, like I said, the traffic stop was related to the hippies with Trump. The guy was there. They knew who he is, but he's still on the most wanted list as if they don't know who he is. Interesting. And this is another interesting guy, the Be Civil guy. I had never heard of this one either. So he was already on the grass, right? Before the breach happened, he had breached. He had breached already without anyone else. You know, he just took it upon himself to go over the fencing that had not been taken down yet. He was there on the grass, and I'm going to show you guys a still shot of him approaching the Capitol Police before any of the breaches had happened, okay? But I just want to point out, this was interesting too. One has to wonder, were these megaphones simply handed out as standard issue? How come so many key operators using blue and white megaphones and are still unindicted 11 months later? So it's the Be Civil guy, Tower Camo Comms, and the Scaffold Commander all had the same very powerful blue and white megaphone. So this is the still shot I was talking about, guys. No one's on the walkway. The breach was still a minute away. This guy was the first on field and the farthest out, the Be Civil guy. You can see him here. No one else has gotten past this fence yet but him. So he was apparently part of the riot, but the police are fixing to approach him, right? And they're like, what are you doing? You're about to get arrested, basically. He approaches them with his hands up, and they have a little powwow. So what they talked about, we don't know. We don't know. Is it possible that the conversation might have went something like this? Like, hey, you know, like, I'm here as an FBI informant. You know, like, I'm, you know, I just want to let you guys know what I'm doing here. And, you know, I'm going to try to keep the peace in this crowd, but we're agitators. And just giving you a heads up so you guys know what's going on. And, you know, we're just, maybe, I don't know, maybe it went like that. Maybe it didn't. Maybe they were, like, asking and talking about, like, what they had for lunch that day. Who knows? We may never know. Okay, so this all happened, again, before the barricade breach. So let's get into some video of him. I think this is the Be Civil guy. Yeah, okay. Not him, but he's going to start to try to, like, break open a window. And then the Be Civil guy comes from over here. There was also talk, which this article doesn't really get into it, but I had read other things that, like, there was talk of, like, possible Antifa that were also in the crowd that were acting like Trump supporters, but they were there as agents of chaos as well. I think that's entirely possible also. Both things might have been happening at the same time. You know, they wanted to make Trump supporters look bad. This was, like, the perfect event to do it, you know, to kind of, like, infiltrate and to co-opt this whole entire event and to make trouble. And people like this, they know that half the population's dumb. Like, they're just, like, IQ-wise, intellectually dumb. And people will go along to get along. They will, you know, they follow the leader. They move in groups. You know, people are not free thinkers for the most part. So a lot of times you can get massive groups like this to operate however you want them to operate if you are in a position of you know, power, if you have an advantage, which if they knew they were planning on doing that, then they did have an advantage. So the Be Civil guy in question is about to come on right now and confront this guy. He like yucks him up, like he pats him down. He like patted him down. What are you doing? We're getting in, he says. We're getting in, he says. Okay, very interesting. So, yeah, that's him right there. That's him. That's the Be Civil guy. And, very odd. So, that's pretty much going to be it, guys. Like I said, there's so much more to this article. Y'all can go back and read this. I would suggest you do. It's very interesting. Very good information. Very well done. For the most part, it was amazing work. And there's a part 1, too. This is part 2. So check out revolver.com, guys. It's an excellent source of news that is not mainstream media driven and poisoned by the establishment. So I'm going to go ahead and end our video there, guys. We are an hour and 20 minutes in. Sorry it was so long. Again, like I said, that article, the Revolver article, was just a beast, like, in and of itself. And I knew that the January 6th story would be massive because there's just a lot to consider there. It's a whole lot to consider. And I want to know what y'all's thoughts are, guys. What do y'all think actually happened in both of these instances? And the final question, which would you rather? You know, the ATF or the FBI? Y'all let me know in the comments, please. And then definitely, guys, hit that subscribe button on your way out if you enjoyed this video. There will be more like it, and I would so greatly appreciate that. It's an easy way to help out my channel. And yeah, y'all let me know, guys. And until next time, you know, I'll see y'all later. All right, bye, guys.
I just tell the truth, and telling the truth is crazy in a world full of lies. If you mix brilliance with bravery, that we can ignite something. Even this conversation alone can ignite the people.
The time is now to express and for people to believe in themselves. The time is now for it to be okay to be great. People in this world shun people for being great, for being a bright color, for standing out. But the time is now to be okay to be the greatest you.